All right, guys, we're going to go through this together because I know it was really difficult. And so what I'm going to have you do is we're going to go through each question. I'm going to show you how to find the answer, but I'm going to give you the answer as well. And I just want you to write the answer in really nice handwriting. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. All right, so number 1. Why did the old woman sometimes depend on the neighbors for food? Okay, so this paragraph here is over here. It's this one, okay? The old woman tried to fend for herself by fishing and gathering seeds and berries, but often she was unsuccessful and had to depend on her neighbors for food. Okay, so you hear certain words in this sentence that are in the question up here. Okay, for instance, but often she was unsuccessful because she tried to fend for herself by fishing and gathering seeds and berries. So, why did the old woman sometimes depend on the neighbors for food? Okay, so how you're going to write it is you're going to say, she sometimes depends on the neighbors for food because often she is unsuccessful when she tries to find her own, meaning her own food. Okay? So you put the part of the question into your answer. Okay? And then complete it with the answer. So write this in really nice handwriting for number 1. Okay, so for number 2, how did Kunikdjuak help the old woman? Well, this paragraph says, spring, summer, and long dark winter passed. Kunikdjuak grew quickly. When spring came again, he was big and strong enough to go hunting and fishing for the old woman. Okay, so he was big and strong enough to go hunting and fishing for the old woman. So this is how he helped the old woman, by hunting and fishing for her. So we're going to write it like this. Kunikdjuak helped the old woman by hunting and fishing for her. Okay, so in really nice handwriting, for number 2, write that. Next question. What was a custom of the Inuit? Okay, the special word here is custom, which means just something traditional for that specific people. Something that they do, every one of them. Okay, so the paragraph says, soon the old woman had plenty of meat and fish to eat, furs to keep her warm, and blubber for cooking, and as is the custom of the Inuit, she shared every good catch with the bear and the whole village. Okay, so how are we going to answer? The custom is sharing. Sharing every good catch with the hunter, who for her was the bear, and the whole village. So, how we will write the sentence is, it is an Inuit custom to share every good catch with the hunter and the whole village. How do the hunters react to the bears hunting? Okay, this paragraph says, the villagers took the food, but in time the hunters grew angry because Kunikdjuak was much better at hunting than they were, and they were jealous that the old woman had found such a good provider. So here it says, the hunters grew angry because he was a better hunter than they were. And two things, they were also jealous because the old woman had found such a good provider. So they were angry and jealous. So we're going to write, the hunters grew angry because he was a better hunter than them, and they were jealous because the old woman found a good provider. Okay? What did they decide to do with the bear? This one's really simple because right here it says they decided to kill Kunikdjuak. So that's what you're going to write. They decided to kill him. How did the old woman save the bear? Here it says the old woman rushed back home. She told Kunikdjuak that he had to leave at once. Go, she said, go quickly and do not come back. Crying bitterly, she begged him not to forget her. So she told him he had to leave at once, and she told him not to come back. This is how she saved him. So we're going to write, the old woman saved the bear by making him leave quickly and telling him never to come back. Number 7. Why do you think the old woman called the bear her son? All right, this is a thought question. This is not what you're going to find answered for you in the book because it says, why do you think? So this is like your opinion, all right? And so I think because there's many reasons. One is that she was a lonely woman and she found a baby. Even though it was an animal baby, it's still a child, like for that animal. And so I think the old woman called the bear her son because she finally had something to take care of and help grow up. Because when you have a son, you start with them from a baby and then they grow up. And so this is what she did with this bear. Did the old woman ever see the bear again? Well, what happened in the story? We know that she did. At the very end, it said, I put this, so these are questions again. This is something you're just going to tell me because you're not going to find it word for word in the book. I put, yes, the old woman did see the bear again. When she was very lonely, she would go far out onto the ice and call him, and he would come and spend time with her. Number 9. We gotta go back. How was the polar bear faithful? Okay, another thought question. I had given you a while ago the definition of what being faithful means. And if you remember, it's like being someone that people can depend upon and trust. Okay? So the polar bear was faithful because he never forgot her and would come to her whenever she called and help her find food. So she trusted him, She loved him and she wanted to be with him. And this should say number 10. Why is the story a folk tale? So remember, a folk tale is a story told by a certain group of people over and over again. It's not usually written down. It's told from their mouth, and they tell it, and then their children will tell it to their children, and so on and so on. So it's passed down through words, not on paper. So it says here, this went on for many years, where they would visit each other, and up to this day, the Inuit tell the story of the faithful bear, Kunikdjuak, and the old woman who brought him up. So I put for the answer, this is a folk tale because this is a story that the Inuit have been telling over and over for a very long time. Okay, so all of these answers, write them on a separate piece of paper in really good handwriting, okay? And then send me a picture.